So just when I think we've worked out all the glitches in our blog, I just realized that I didn't get mine. And I actually use two email addresses that I'm signed up with just as a backup, I guess, just to make sure. So I'm guessing none of you guys have received it either. So it would be unique to see this video before you actually see the written copy. But nonetheless, our blog post is up on our website. Hopefully the email distribution will get sorted shortly, quickly. I'll keep an eye on that, I promise. But the content this time around is interesting, and it just seemed so appropriate for the timing. And it is definitely outside of our normal scope, our wheelhouse. But we want to make sure that people are getting good data, even if it has absolutely no way to circle back to us. And the content this time around is about buying new construction. Now, the thing about buying new construction is that we rarely get involved. Most of the builders have built in incentives. I promise you, as the consumer, you're paying for it somehow, that make it very difficult to find your own lender and you have to use their lender. And as a former preferred lender for a builder, I kind of know how the inner workings of that go. In fact, it's one of the reasons that I won't do lending for a builder. And if you guys have questions about that, seriously, if you are working with a builder and you are working with the builder's lender, and yes, I hate that term too, it should be your lender, then feel free to ask. I'm absolutely to help anybody walk through that process. I will absolutely go through loan estimates, whatever you guys need. If you have questions about how a builder or a builder's lender is kind of treating you financially from the perspective of buying some of their product, then don't hesitate to ask. All right. But we don't really get involved. It's rare that a consumer, their agent, whatever the case may be, can really keep such a great deal intact with you being able to use your own lender. All right. Oh, dog's barking. That's good. Live video. That's the way it goes. Yes, the dogs are in the office today. In any case, some of the things you guys have got to focus on, similar to if you were buying a resale, wants and needs. Must haves, nice to haves is how we call it in there. Okay. Your budget. That's a no brainer. And when it comes to a budget with a new build, there are a lot of things that we don't usually consider in the buying of homes, like landscaping. Typically, the buyer's on the hook for that, and it has to be done in a certain time frame from the time you close on the home. Window coverings. That's an outrageous expense that a lot of people don't take into account because typically if we buy a resale, it has window coverings. So there are a lot of those kinds of things to consider in your budget if you're buying a new build. Obviously, one of the questions we ask everybody, and you should always ask when you're buying a home, is how long am I going to stay in this home? How long am I going to keep this home? How long am I going to keep this loan? Those are things. Lifestyle needs, commute, schools, amenities. Those of you here in our market in Denver know that really the building is going on the edges of town, outside the 470 loop, out near the airport. The big development, Silver, I'm drawing a blank, out south of, or not south of, but right there near the golf course south of Chatfield. I can't remember why I can't figure out why the name of the development is escaping me, but those of you that actually pay attention to our content and building and developing would know what that is. Something Silver. In any case, unpredictable timelines, that's certainly a big one. It's not like buying a resale where the Colorado contract lays out those dates. In fact, builders don't even use the standard legal Colorado contract. It's usually some obnoxious 150-page document, probably written by a law firm in Texas or Florida. They do not follow along those particular guidelines. What's going to be different in your home versus the model? Should you hire a real estate agent that specializes in new construction? Yes. Should you hire a real estate agent to represent you and your interests? Yes. Do not let the builder or their sales rep drive that transaction. So you got to figure out total price, including upgrades. what's available, what do they cost, what are the standard finishes, what's an estimated completion date, and obviously we have material shortages from time to time. We have labor shortages from time to time. I do know that it is an estimated completion date. What's the process for your upgrades? What warranties are included? Those kinds of things. How do you handle the defects after you've closed? Who's the person that you'll talk to? Probably your agent, I'm hoping. You should probably talk to people who have purchased in that development already. HOAs, make yourself aware of what the HOA situation is going to look like, because that is insane here. There are thresholds to where a certain number of houses in a development have been built before the builder really turns it over to an HOA. That's a big deal. HOA fees could skyrocket by the time it comes to being an actual HOA. Obviously, a lot of these new builds are going to fall within metro districts umbrella. What that does from the property taxes being just on a piece of land to being on the land with the improvements to being the final set. I think I'm working with a client right now. They're refinancing out of the loan they took with a new build. They took a floating buy down, so their rate was 6 and now 7, and it'll eventually be 8 kind of thing. And the property taxes went from like $600 a year, piece of dirt, to like $2,500 a year with the improvements, to now like $7,000 a year with the metro districts stepping in. Okay, so the taxes are a big deal. What other development is going to go on in the area is a big deal. What are they doing for energy efficiency? What are they doing for incentives? There's so much to talk about. Oh, an inspection, get an inspection on a new build. Absolutely get an inspection. Yeah, there's so many things that complicate new construction beyond a resale that you've really got to be on your toes. And it almost feels like a very frictional relationship with the seller, but unfortunately in Colorado, that is how we classify builders, as sellers, and we don't regulate sellers. We regulate mortgage lenders and real estate agents and real estate appraisers, but we don't regulate home sellers, and that's basically what the builders are. So you've really got to be on your toes. You've really got to be looking out for your best interests, and there are so many little boxes to tick off in that process that it requires a deft touch. So, wow, did I ramble through that one? That was a long time for a live video. Hopefully the audio worked this time. All right, so that's our blog post. I'll make sure you guys do get it via email for those of you that are subscribed. If you want to be subscribed, you can do that on our website. Other than that, thanks for listening to me rant. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk, and we'll see you guys next time.